Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to introduce one of the top experts in international finance with deep expertise in trade, export and project finance, Mr. Nabil Frik. Nabil Frik is an accomplished C-suite banker and managing director with over 25 years of progressive leadership across international financial institutions in Europe, the Middle East, Africa and Asia. Proven track record in building and scaling transaction banking, trade finance, export and project finance, and financial institutions businesses across complex, multi-jurisdictional environments. Extensive experience managing portfolios, driving new market entry, coordinating KYC and AML remediation, and embedding ESG frameworks. Dual British-German national, fluent in 4 languages, with deep-rooted networks across the MENA-Europe corridor, Sub-Saharan Africa, the GCC and South-East Asia, combines strategic vision with hands-on deal origination, relationship management, and P&L ownership at the highest institutional level. Ready to serve as Managing Director, CEO, Head of Financial Institutions, or non-executive board member. Core executive competencies include banking strategy, deal structuring, and leadership and governance. His expertise spans trade finance and GTB, transaction banking, and corporate and institutional banking. He covers financial institutions, emerging market strategy, and MENA-Europe business development. In deal structuring, he specializes in export finance, project and structured finance, and commodity finance, along with syndicated lending, ECA and multilateral coordination, correspondent banking, and capital markets liaison. For leadership and governance, C-suite and board representation, P&L ownership, and cross-border team leadership, as well as KYC, AML and compliance frameworks, ESG integration and risk management. At British Arab Commercial Bank in London, he served as Managing Director and Head of Financial Institutions for Africa, Middle East and Asia from 2013 to 2025. Held full P&L and strategic accountability for BACB's financial institutions, corporate banking and trade finance business lines across EMEA and Asia. Directed and scaled the bank's transaction banking, corporate banking and trade finance operations as a member of the senior leadership team. Oversaw and actively managed an investment and trade finance portfolio exceeding $1 billion, ensuring risk-adjusted returns and portfolio quality. Led marketing and origination teams across London, Algiers and Abidjan, designing go-to-market strategies for new regional corridors. Drove significant commercial expansion into Sub-Saharan Africa and Francophone Africa, establishing BACB as a credible institutional player. Designed and embedded ESG and KYC and AML frameworks for high-risk jurisdictions, managing regulatory expectations and correspondent banking relationships. Spearheaded budget planning, product development and compliance initiatives in alignment with the board's risk appetite and strategic objectives. Acquired and retained a portfolio of prominent commodity-focused corporate clients, strengthening fee income and balance sheet utilization. Key achievements include designing and executing a new commercial banking strategy for EMEA, increasing revenue diversification, expanding the bank's footprint into Sub-Saharan Africa and Asia, generating new institutional relationships and deal flow, leading successful KYC remediation programs in high-risk regions, protecting the bank's correspondent banking network, and securing marquee commodity sector corporate mandates, reinforcing BACB's positioning as a specialist institution. As a member of the board at Incolis Egypt, he provided independent governance, fiduciary oversight and strategic direction, contributing sector expertise and risk perspective to board deliberations on business strategy, compliance and capital allocation. At Qatar National Bank in London, he was the regional head of Transaction Banking Europe, leading the commercial deployment of QNB's proposition. Developed and implemented trade finance and corporate banking strategies for QNB's European branches, driving product penetration. Built and led cross-functional teams, strengthening cross-selling capabilities and internal collaboration across the global QNB network. Managed senior client and stakeholder relationships across European corporates, banks and multilateral bodies to accelerate growth. Key achievements include launching trade finance services across Europe and North Africa with rapid product penetration, and pioneering a dual customer commercial model, materially improving transaction volumes and client stickiness. As branch general manager for Bank of Beirut in Frankfurt, he held full P&L responsibility for branch operations and MENA relationships. strengthened operational infrastructure and compliance frameworks, elevating the branch's regulatory standing and client service quality. Over 11 years at Europe Arab Bank, he built and managed strategic institutional and corporate relationships across the DACH region and MENA-Europe corridor. Over 11 years at Europe Arab Bank, he built and managed strategic institutional and corporate relationships across the DACH region and MENA-Europe corridor. Structured and executed complex financial transactions, including export finance, project finance, and structured trade facilities. During his tenure, he delivered substantial and sustained financial growth, consistently exceeding commercial targets. During his tenure, he delivered substantial and sustained financial growth, consistently exceeding commercial targets. At ING Bearings, he was Senior Account Manager for Export and Project Finance, structuring transactions across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Developed innovative financial models combining ECA support, syndicated lending, and commercial banking to optimize client solutions. As a manager at Siemens Financial Services, he structured complex multi-party ECA-backed financing transactions, advised Siemens commercial departments on long-term financing solutions for capital-intensive infrastructure projects in the Middle East and Asia. He drove incremental infrastructure equipment sales by designing creative, ECA-linked financing packages for sovereign buyers. Starting as an economist at La Meyer International, he conducted feasibility studies for projects funded by the World Bank, EU, and EBRD, delivered detailed investment analyses for power generation, energy, and transport sector projects across emerging markets. His board and advisory roles include Incolease Egypt, providing governance and strategic advisory. He is also the founder and director of a London-based fintech company, specializing in digital strategy, SEO, and web publishing. His education includes an MBA as an engineer economist and a BA as an engineer from Bielefeld University in Germany. He is a dual German and British citizen, fluent in both languages at a native level. And he is also a native speaker of French and Arabic, offering true multilingual executive leadership. A featured industry contributor for International Banker, the Arab Bankers Association, and TXF News. A frequent speaker at international finance conferences across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa for over 2 decades. Mr. Nabil Frik, strategic vision, global networks, and proven leadership at the highest institutional level. Contact us today.